because of the fact that you remain actually accountable for the movement of the docket. Now, me being allow me to call it the custodian of...
the owner of the docket.
The owner of the docket.
Yes.
The provincial commissioner will not know that this docket is at the organized crime. What he sees is in the system that it is registered under Vereeniging, which is in Sedibeng district. Now, this docket registered in Sedibeng, he will give orders to the Sedibeng district commissioner to get him the docket.
Okay.
That is why I was saying earlier on, Commissioner, when I was speaking to witness B, that if the docket is at the DPP, it is not a problem, as long as you can give a report in writing that the docket is at the DPP, and the report we are going to send it with other dockets to the provincial commission,
Okay.
that the docket is not readily available. So we will be accounting as to where the docket is. If it answers your question, Commissioner.
So it remained a Sedibeng docket, even though it is with organized crime. Is that
100%, Commissioner, by virtue of it having the serial number that I spoke about, which is called the CAS number, it won't change that it was registered in Vereeniging. That is why it remained in Sedibeng.
Thank you. Thanks,
The language we have heard very often in this commission, Brigadier, is the station of origin. So where the docket was originally opened, that remains throughout the life of the docket. And the station of origin in this case was Vereeniging.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think you are my assistant in that regard. Thanks.
Thanks, Brigadier. If you can then go to paragraph 29.
Thank you, Advocate. Paragraph 29 talks to the Ford Raptor vehicle registered in my name. The evidence before the Commission includes an allegation that a Ford Raptor vehicle registered in my name was driven by Katiso's girlfriend, Fundiso, outside the Vereeniging Magistrate Court on the 5th of March 2025. I confirm that this allegation is true. The Ford Raptor vehicle was indeed my private vehicle that was driven by Fundiso on the day, and I purchased this particular vehicle lawfully for my eldest daughter, who was paying for it through me, since I'm the registered owner of this particular vehicle. I was not driving the vehicle on the 5th of March. I was not present at the court either in Vereeniging on that day. I borrowed this particular vehicle to Fundiswa, who is my sister. As I've explained in detail in my main statement, and that in this supplementary statement, I confirm that I treat Fundisa like my baby sister, so I will always assist her when she needs an assistance. I allowed Fundiswa to use this vehicle. She came to Gauteng to visit her husband in prison. She explained to me that she suspected people following her, and she was afraid to use her car because it's known. And I decided to give her the Ford Raptor vehicle because in any way, it has been sitting in the garage for quite some time without it being utilized. Should I continue, Advocate?
Just to make sure, so in February when she came, you accompanied her because then she had problems with her car. And then in March when she was going for this visit, her reason for approaching you for assistance was because she was being followed.
100% advocate.
Thank you, Brigadier. Then the last section is the allegations that Mr. Molefe denied knowing you.
Thank you, advocate. On paragraph 30, I alluded to the fact that the commission has evidence from the prison head, Mr. Nyangule, that on 10 December 2024, the day after my first visit in Groenpend, he interviewed Mr. Molefe and asked him whether he was related to me or not. According to Mr. Nyangule, Mr. Molefe said he was not my brother-in-law and did not know me as a relative. I beg your pardon. Commissioners, I cannot explain why Mr. Molefe will say he did not know me. I was not there when he was communicating with Mr. Nyangule. And I was not present. I don't know how they spoke. And I wouldn't really testify saying that Mr. Molefe denied knowing me. I disclosed openly to the prison officials on the 9th of December who am I, and I disclosed it in my main statement. And commissioners, I had clothes that has to be given to Katiso and the food. And the prison officials went to give Katiso the clothes, and he accepted it. And if he did not know me, according to my own perspective, why would he accept clothes coming from a person that you don't know? So I wouldn't know why he said he didn't know me.
Thank you, Brigadier. Brigadier, that completes your two statements. Is there anything else that you want to place on record?
Not much, commissioners, except to say that I feel very embarrassed to be associated with criminals, but not as a fault of anyone else but myself. And I'm putting it to the community that I'm accountable for in accordance with the constitution of this country, that I'm not a criminal. I don't associate with cartels and the so-called cartels. I don't. And I'm a police officer who served in the South African Police Service for 39 years almost. And I want to retain and leave the service ceremonially so in the next few months to come. I'm a proud police officer up until this stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier.
Can he just complete that part? Sorry to do this, Brigadier. You say in the next few months. When is your retirement date?
Commissioner, at the end of July, I'll be on pension.
End of July this year?
Yes.
So 2 months, 3 months?
Yes, Commissioner.
You'll be turning 62. Why?
I'll be reaching the retirement age, Commissioner.
You are not a lady, Brigadier. You don't have to worry about those things. Unless this goes back to that boys' discussion, you don't want them to know how old you are. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, okay, Commissioner.
Brigadier, if we can go back to your first statement,
is this
my
the
apologies.
beginning of the probing?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, all right. Just to alert the brigadier.
Oh,
Thank you, Commissioner.
yes, Chair. I learned from Chief Evidence Leader that we disclose when people must be wary of the questions. Although I don't think the Brigadier need to be wary of me. Brigadier, if we can go to your relationship with Miss Nyangule, and just, I have a few questions to better understand how close you were. Now, earlier you testified that she was married to your wife's late brother, and that by in the year 2000, your Mr. or you refer to him as Sazi. His surname is
Kuboni.
Kuboni.
Yes, advocate.
So Mr. Kuboni passes away in 2000, in the year 2000, and you then say that 2 days later, Miss Nyangule's mother also passes away. Is this at this point where Miss Nyangule's family had all unfortunately passed away, or were there other family members around this time?
During the passing of Sazi and the mother of Fundiswa, there were still siblings of Fundiswa. To my collection, I think there were 2 who were still alive. 2 or 3, I can't remember very well.
And do you recall when those siblings passed away?
No.
All right. And then on your wife's side, your, should I say, estranged wife's side, because you indicated that it was a separation.
Yes.
Did you you indicated that your wife had an older brother? Were there other siblings?
Yeah, there were other siblings who were the younger brother. Actually, there is a younger sister of my wife and a younger brother of my wife who was younger than Sazi.
And then in terms of the timeline that we've gone through, you say then that in 2001, the mourning period came to an end, and by 2005, Ms. Nyangule had started to see or had met Mr. Molefe.
I apologize, Advocate, to ask you to repeat that statement.
No worries. I'm trying to build a timeline of events. So you indicated that a year after your brother-in-law's passing, after the 1 year, so that would have been in 2001, that's when the mourning period came to an end. Thereafter, you said that in 2005, Ms. Nyangule then meets Mr. Molefe.
Advocate, I wouldn't know when did Fundiswa meet this Katiso. But what I know is that during 2005, Fundiswa came to us to come and tell us that I was still with my wife, I remember, that she met a guy. This guy wanted to marry her. And we sit down and interviewed her. That was in 2005. But as to when did they meet, I don't know.
All right. And when you say you interviewed her trying to understand who she was going to marry, what information did you ascertain from that process?
Commissioners, what I could remember, amongst others, is that we came to a question of her having to tell her the background of this particular guy that he has met. Do you know this particular person enough? He said yes. And it came to a time where she told us that this guy is a married man, then that's when I get to differ with her on her intentions to marry this guy because of his marriage status.
And so your disapproval was registered much earlier than when the customary marriage happens, which is in 2022.
Correct, Advocate.
Okay, so then in 2022, you noted that the customary marriage happens. Now, how is your relationship between Fundiswa and yourself affected by the split with your wife, which you say happens in 2014?
Our relationship with Fundiswa, it was, let me say, in the absence of perhaps a suitable word, it was dented in that we did not finish the meeting with me on that day because I abandoned the meeting on the basis that we were not agreeing in terms, and I abandoned the meeting with the sole intention of convincing my wife, who was trying to say, "Yeah, but be reasonable, man." And what I said, "No, Mina, I don't go with that, not unless I'm convinced otherwise. But yeah, let me leave you with, and then we'll talk."
Are you referring to 2005 now?
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
think, Ms. Bowe, aren't you asking about 2014 onwards?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in 2005, you have this meeting. You leave on a bad note because you are of the view that it's not a good idea to marry somebody who's married. During that, between 2005 and 2021, in 2014, you separate from your wife.
Yes.
So I'm asking, given that the last time, at least that you mentioned, there was this meeting, it ended on a bad note. What happens in the intervening period is that you separate from your wife. What happens of your relationship with Ms. Nyangule at that stage?
Yeah, we're no longer having a solid relationship. However, the relationship was still there because we were talking over the phones, and she would call and check, and the wife will tell me that Fundisa called or Fundisa visited, and sometimes I will come home and find that Fundisa is there visiting, and she's sitting there, and then when I come out, we see one another, and it's like, but it was never like before.
Perhaps I'm not clear. So are you now describing your relationship post-2025 but pre-2014? That she used to come around and you'd find her talking to your wife would also tell you Fundisa was here, so it was strained, but there was still a relationship.
Yeah, pre-2014,
Yes.
post-2005.
Yes.
Yes, but post-2014,
Yes.
we were just talking over the phone with the Fundiswa. I never actually met her.
And do you recall what the frequency of those calls were?
It was not, I can tell that it was not many, it was maybe not even 4 times, but I cannot recall exactly, but I don't remember me talking to her perhaps more than 3 times over the phone, but we were talking.
3 or 4 times over that entire period.
Over that entire period,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
So this is until 2021?
Until 2021.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then in 2021, you were told about the customary marriage.
Yes.
And at this time, had you warmed up to the idea of the marriage?
No.
And so were you testified that you were part of the negotiations though?
Yes.
So now how does that come about?
For the negotiations that I think the brigadier said he participated in, Mr. Powe, was SARS's.
Oh, my apologies.
These, he had washed his hands and was quite mad about what was happening.
My
Quite
apologies.
correct,
Thanks,
Yes.
yes.
All right. So then, let's extend that period. So between